Welcome to the NFL. Let's go! Let's go!
Titans fans, are you ready for some football?
Spartans! What is your profession?
Welcome to Two-Tone Blue Nation. By fans, for fans. Two-Tone Blue Nation. Organizing tailgates and events. If you're all about Tennessee Titans football, this is your podcast.
And here we go!
And here comes your hosts, Big Luke, King Cole, and Austin Hall.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Two-Tone Blue Nation Talk. I'm King Cole. Today, we're joined by a representative from San Antonio Titans. It's Kernick Leon, a.k.a. Kenny. Kenny, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, brother? Hey, appreciate you guys bringing me on, man.
Absolutely, man. We're glad you could make it on tonight. I assume you're joining us from the San Antonio region of Texas?
Surprisingly, you would think so. However, being that I'm current active duty military, I'm actually stationed in Amarillo, Texas right now. I'm actually out here on recruiter duty. And funny story, I never really even lived in San Antonio. I just always used to go down there to visit my father, who retired down there. And just happened to meet up with a bunch of diehard two-tone blue bloods, like my buddy Mark, and he introduced me to the group called the Tennessee Titan Fans of San Antonio, or San Antonio Titan Fans, how I like to say it, and kind of became like the unofficial VP guy. I put on pretty hard for the group.
Right on, man. And real quick, we appreciate your service, man. Thank you for what you do. Absolutely want to give a shout out to all our service members. If you're out there listening to us, we appreciate your service and everything you've done for us.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Getting back to the San Antonio Titans, can you tell us, do you have any information on when the group was founded, when y'all kind of started organizing, and calling yourself an official fan group?
Oh, definitely. Well, I was actually introduced to the group in 2017. The group actually started back in September of 2016. And it's actually pretty funny. I actually met some of the representatives from the group during the Tennessee Titan Fans in Houston's tailgate during the 2017 season. I know you guys remember that debacle where we got destroyed by the Texans. I think they put up like the most points in franchise history against us that day. We scored,
I think it was 57 points, I think. Something like that.
You got it. 57-14. And like Marcus got hurt. Marcus got hurt before halftime. Yeah, that was atrocious. But the two great things came from that game, though. I got to meet Titan Chris and like a lot of people from the Houston group. And I got to meet some of the folks from the San Antonio group. And with that being said, like a lot of them were like, hey, I see you're always in San Antonio. Do you live down there? And I was like, no, but I actually visit my father on the weekends because I was stationed in Fort Hood, which is only about 2 hours away from where my dad is at. So every weekend I just come down and I kind of just try to find a place to watch the games and stuff. But obviously I couldn't really find that many Titans fans. And then these guys were like, man, we got a lot of people down in San Antonio. We meet up at this one place to go watch the games. Next time you're down, meet up with us. And I was like, cool. And then I went down there one week. I want to say, man, I'm trying to remember the first game I actually watched with them. I want to say it was Baltimore. It was against the Ravens. We beat the Ravens 13-10, or it may have been a game before that. But I met Mark Robledo. He's the leader of the group. A bunch of awesome guys, man, a bunch of awesome fans. And I just kind of basically kept up with them. And as that season went on, the next season went on, we got bigger and bigger. We continued to link up with the Houston group and, go to their tailgates. And we actually moved locations into like a more centrally located area in San Antonio, because San Antonio is huge. I don't know if you guys have been out there, but San Antonio, it's like you think everything is really close, but San Antonio is a huge city. So a lot of the fans, they were unable to actually come to our watch parties because they're like, oh man, that's too far or whatever. So Mark actually moved like the venue to a more centrally located area by the North Star Mall. Anybody that's been in San Antonio knows the mall with the big old cowboy boots in front of it. There was a bar that we go over there called Slackers, and they kind of took us in, and they were mainly a cowboy and Texan bar. But after a couple of weeks, they saw how many Titan fans were in there watching the games. They kind of like realized that we need to cater to these Titans fans.
So did they put up any? Did they put up any kind of Titans memorabilia, flags, anything to kind of rep Two-Tone Blue Nation, or do y'all do that on your own?
Well, we definitely do that. I mean, Mark comes through every time. Mark's usually the first one there because he also likes to grill. He always does like a theme for like whatever game we're playing. Like if we're playing Buffalo, like he'll make buffalo wings, or if we're playing like whatever, like he'll do whatever. Like we try to theme it to our opponent. It just depends who we're playing. So he's always the first one there because he gets on the grill immediately. He hangs up the flags. Puts up tablecloths, Titan tablecloths, Titan napkins, Titan everything. The Slackers folks, they kind of act like, oh, well, we have Warren Moon up there and Earl Campbell, so that counts. And I was like, yeah, it does, but I'm still campaigning to actually hang a Titans flag up there because we definitely support that bar a lot on Sundays. So hopefully they'll actually hang our logo up there.
All right, so that's kind of lead me in a little bit to my next question. Would you say that a lot of the San Antonio Titan members, are they kind of leftover Oiler fans that just follow the Titans on their move to Tennessee, or are there a lot of actual just organic Titans fans that are just drawn to the team post move to Nashville?
Absolutely. Well, honestly, I probably know maybe myself and one other person that's in the group that are actually Tennesseans. Everybody else are leftover Oiler fans. They're still loyal, much like the Houston group. They're all old school Oiler fans. They grew up with the Oilers, and they just stay loyal to the franchise.
Absolutely. And this is as good a time as any to remind our listeners that, yes, the Oilers and the Titans are the same franchise. It does not matter if you were an Oilers fan in 1996 when they moved in 1997 to Tennessee. We adopted them. So they became your team. Their history is our history. One big family, love you blue. The city of Houston, they love their blue, but they don't own it. That's us. All right. That's the Adams family, Bud Adams, Amy Adams. That's our history as well. So if you're listening, there's your history lesson. Sorry, rant over.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many Instagram posts Deshaun Watson and JJ Twat want to put on with Oiler jerseys. It's not going to happen, guys. I'm sorry.
Yep, you're not getting the colors back. If you wanted them, should have built a new stadium back in the day. It didn't happen. No, I'm sorry. So one thing I like about all the different fan groups that span across the country and that span across the globe is the unique logos that these group members come up with. And San Antonio Titans has got an awesome group logo. Can you give us some information on who created that logo and where we can get some merchandise with that logo on it?
Yeah, it's funny you guys mentioned that because trust me, you guys got some stuff coming your way soon. Believe that. So Mark actually came out with that logo. I just kind of told him, I was like, look, man, it has to have something, that incorporates San Antonio. Like I said, I don't even live in San Antonio. I'm not from there, but I love that city. If you guys get a chance to come down there, I'm telling you, San Antonio is the best. And then when he showed me that logo, and then the best thing, I mean, of course, like all the leftover Oiler groups, they like to incorporate the Oil Derrick and all the Titan logos or whatnot. That's awesome. But my whole thing is he actually put the San Antonio skyline across the top. And I was like, that is awesome. Like everybody, I started showing that logo around to all the other Texas groups, and they're like, man, I need that patch or I need that sticker. I'm like, man, we don't even have those yet, but we're working on it. So then we started making the T-shirts and towels, rally towels and stuff like that. It is an awesome logo. When I showed it to Miss Adams, she was like, oh, wow, this is a really nice logo. And she actually made a drop video for me, and I actually posted it to the group when I went to training camp, I want to say like year before last or 2 years ago. She actually made like a little, hey, San Antonio fans video or whatever. And she was like, man, this is a very awesome logo. And then I've always got nothing but positive feedback from, former players, I talked a lot to the reporters, like, Teron Davenport and Buck Rising and all those guys are like, man, yeah, that's a cool logo, whatever. I like to have the Titans players take pictures with like the flag or the rally towel. That's always I always get a thrill from that because it's a dope logo.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, going back, the skyline is awesome. Anytime you can pay homage to your region or your hometown, your home city, while also repping your favorite team, man, that's an awesome combination. The fact that you can get players and owners, Miss Amy is so awesome, so sweet, so kind, just a fantastic lady. Love her to death. The fact that she posed with it, players pose with it, and they comment on it, man, that's something to be proud of, and that speaks a lot to y'all's group.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I told her, I was like, look, you got some diehard old school Oiler fans that are like diehard two-tone blue bloods now. I mean, I just like anytime I can shine light on any of the Texas groups, because like you said earlier, I mean, it's our history now. It's all our history, even though some of us didn't grow up with Warren Moon and Earl Campbell and all those guys, but we're all a family, and it's anytime like I can like show light, like shine a little bit of light on any of the Texas groups, I take advantage of.
Yeah, man, and I still remember Frank Wycheck, Steve McNair, Eddie George. I remember when they first came here, they were wearing the oil derrick on the side of their helmets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely our history. So, so we're going to move on a little bit more towards you in particular. I know you've mentioned how you became a part of San Antonio Titans, and this is a question we normally start off with, but how did you personally become a fan of the Titans? What is your story as how you were introduced to Titans football?
Oh man, get your popcorn ready. No, it's
all right.
It's not that difficult. Like I said before, I mean, I'm active duty military, but I also grew up a military brat. So obviously, I moved around a lot with my mom. I was actually born in Alaska while she was stationed there. From Alaska, we bounced all over the place. We made a lot of stops in Puerto Rico because my family is from Puerto Rico. So we visited there, and in my earliest memories, she actually got stationed at Fort Campbell back in the late '80s. And I lived in Clarksville. Anybody that's from Clarksville knows that skating rink over there across the street from Walmart and 41A, them apartments behind that skating rink, that's where I used to live at. And them apartments are still there. So, for a while, that was like my home. That's all I knew because we moved around so much. We were in Germany. We were all over the place. But then, it came a long stretch of years. And mind you, I'm not watching football yet. We ended up after I spent a few years in Puerto Rico while my mom was deployed, we actually ended up moving to Panama. And then we spent a few years in Panama. And then my mom, she married my stepfather. And he was actually the first one that actually put me on to football. And the problem was that he's a diehard Giants fan. He was all New York Knicks, New York Giants, New York Rangers, everything but the Islanders and the Mets. So he introduced me to NFL football and, to the Giants. And, to this day, Lawrence Taylor is still my favorite defensive player of all time. So I kind of started watching the, football with him. But then as time went on, I started seeing like the San Francisco 49ers and Jerry Rice and just all the moves they would make. And I was like, man, these guys are good. I like these guys better than the Giants, much to his chagrin. So I kind of rooted for the Niners for a while. And then we left Panama and moved to Fort Bragg, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And a year after that, guess what came along? The two expansion teams, Jacksonville Jaguars and Carolina Panthers. So obviously everybody was Carolina Panther crazy. Up until that point, that's been the longest place I've stayed my whole life, besides Clarksville, Tennessee. And then just as soon as I'm about to become a keep pounding fan for life, we moved to Korea. And then in Korea, it's kind of hard to watch football because they play the games like super duper duper early in the morning, while you're in school and stuff. So that was around the time when the Broncos. That was around the time when the Broncos were winning those back-to-back Super Bowls. No, I did not become a Broncos fan. I'm a huge Shannon Sharp fan, but yeah, I did not become a Broncos fan. I kind of lost track of the Panthers, but then we were getting ready to head back. My mother said, hey, well, we're going back to Clarksville. I'm going to retire at Fort Campbell. And around the same time, obviously, you guys know, the Oilers had just moved over. We got there, the Oilers were doing their thing those 2 years. And then, once we finally settled back into Clarksville, Tennessee Titans got unveiled, went all the way to the Super Bowl, and I said, well, you know what? Hey, these are my guys, and we settled back in Clarksville, and that just became my official hometown because that's the place I've been at the longest my whole life. And yeah,
man,
sorry for the long story.
No. I love it. I love hearing those stories, man. I love hearing all the details. And to me, man, it sounds like, and I know you moved around a lot, man. It sounds like a roulette wheel, just kind of waiting for that final stop to see where it lands. And you landed in Tennessee at the exact right time, man, to become a lifelong Titans fan. And that's awesome, man. I love hearing those stories. Before the Titans, or before the Oilers moved to Tennessee and became the Titans, man, I was a Cowboys fan. I had an Aikman jersey, I had an Emmitt Smith jersey. I've got two uncles that are diehard cheeseheads. They bought me a Brett Favre jersey. I still like Brett Favre. If Brett Favre wanted to come out of retirement and play for the Titans, he'd be back up to Ryan Tannehill, I guess. He's probably better than, what we've got right now. But yeah, man, I love hearing those stories. I love hearing about how people became fans of the team because, while our history is kind of a short one as far as the time in Tennessee goes, it means a lot to the people that are from around here that have followed the team from day one.
Yeah, definitely. And I know my father, I know he doesn't get upset, but he kind of like wishes like, man, I should have taught him about some football. My father's a diehard Bears fan. He's everything Chicago but the White Sox. So, yeah, he's hardcore Chicago. And I still kind of, root for the Bears just because of him a little bit. And, I was introduced to Walter Payton, obviously through old flashbacks and highlights and stuff like that. So I'm a huge Walter Payton fan. One of the things I'm actually kind of excited for this season is Bears actually coming to Nashville. I'm actually trying to get tickets to that game so I can take my father to that game. He's never been to a Bears game like his whole life. So I'm trying to see if I can get some tickets to that game, take him over there.
That'd be an awesome experience.
Father-son moment.
Yeah, absolutely, hopefully. Man. I can honestly say the only thing about the Bears that I like is the SNL skit from back in the day.
Oh, yeah. The Bears.
Da Bears. Mike Ditka. Yeah.
Mike Ditka.
I actually showed that to my oldest daughter not too long ago, and she thought it was pretty funny. I told her we're playing Da Bears in Nashville this year, and she wants to go see Da Bears just because of that now. So I guess I'm going to take her to that game.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. Remember the one where Michael Jordan was on there with them, and they were doing like that weird hula dance.
Yeah, Da Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm old, man. I'm kind of old, so I got a big, pretty long memory about stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a classic. So how many trips to Nissan Stadium would you say you've made?
Oh man, jeez. Well, for a while I was actually stationed at Fort Campbell. That was actually my second duty station once I actually joined the Army. Those were, I swear, the majority of those games were all like the dark years games when we were winning like 2-3 games a year, and it was terrible. But I was still there, and I would still be in the stands like for the whole game. Man, I kind of lost track. I actually remember back when we still used to have paper tickets. I used to have like a little what's the word? I used to have a little routine when I would go to the games. I would get my paper ticket, scan in, go straight to the pro shop, buy the little Titans lanyard with the little Titans logo on there, and put my paper ticket in there and the little coupon booklet on every chair. And I would put that, and that would be like my remembrance of every game I've been to. And I would hang them up on the back of my door. And I actually still have a whole bunch of those, man. So, but ever since we went to electronic tickets, I kind of lost track. But I've been to quite a few games back when I used to live there. Now that I'm away, I've actually been going to obviously more away games. I try to make at least 2 games in Nissan a year. I'm trying to do more than that this year, but yeah, definitely been doing a lot of away games since I left. So, and I've been gone since 2013. So, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I definitely feel you with the dark days. You mentioned, the days we won 2 and 3 games. That's actually my dad was a founding season ticket member. He bought a pair of tickets back in '99, so he's had tickets, from the beginning. But when I got out on my own, was about when I was finally able to afford my own set of season tickets was just before the 2014 season. I got there just in time to see Ken Wisenhunt take this team over and run it smack down in the ground. It was awful.
Oh, man. I didn't actually get to see any Ken Wisenhunt games, I don't think. I actually was going to a lot of those games back when I want to say Mike Munchak was still there. Well, maybe I did watch some Ken Wisenhunt games. I'll take that back. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Like,
Yeah, man. So those are some dark times. The Ken Wisenhunt days are days we definitely want to put behind us. But you mentioned, you try to take a couple trips to Nissan every year. I figured this right here is probably a good opportunity to go ahead and invite you to our season opener against Jacksonville. Our home opener tailgate is going to be huge. You bring all the San Antonio Titans up. It's going to be a massive party. We've got a lot of things planned, assuming that we're all able to meet and do things that we normally do, especially with the COVID and stuff going on. I believe the NFL's announced that they're planning to have full stadiums. So, as long as they're planning on having full stadiums, we're planning on filling it up.
Oh, definitely. I mean, anytime you guys put something out, if I'm going to be at the game, I definitely always try to stop by. I'm amazed. I actually haven't really got a chance to actually speak to you two. I speak to Big Luke all the time, man. That's because he was the first one I met. And, every time I see him, and plus when you guys did the thing in Denver last year, we were there as well with a bunch of us from San Antonio and Houston as well. And we went to that little German restaurant where you guys held the pregame party. And I just remember talking to Luke and him telling us about all the stuff that you guys had planned. And, Luke is my guy, man. So he's awesome. But, I'll definitely try to make it to that Jacksonville game. I'm kind of leaning towards – I asked a buddy of mine because I kind of have a thing that I want to try to do. I want to try to see every single NFL team both play in Nissan and us play them at their stadium. So there's a bunch of teams this season that I haven't seen in person yet, and mainly the big two are Pittsburgh and Buffalo. So I've been kind of trying to figure out, go back and forth, which game of those I'm trying to go to. So I asked a good buddy of mine, I know you guys know who he is, Mr. Tighten Up. I asked him, I was like, hey, man, what you think, man, Pittsburgh or Buffalo? And he pleaded with me. He said, man, Leon, please come to the Buffalo game, man. He's like, last season was terrible. Like they were so deep, like it was terrible. He's like, the whole parking lot was full of people jumping through tables and like, yeah, it was bad. We need as many people as possible. We need all hands on deck for that game. So I'm still debating it. So, but yeah, for the season opener, because I like going to season openers. I was at the one last year. I was at your guys' tailgate last year. Jacksonville, that should be a good one.
Excellent, man. And you mentioned the Buffalo Bills fans jumping off tables, man. Do you remember the viral video of the guy jumping off the I think he jumped off the bridge on the table? Yeah, that happened maybe 10 feet away from our tailgate.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
We actually one of our guys actually stepped over there and filmed that, and like I said, I wish he would have got credit for it going viral. I don't think he got any credit for it, but that dude is a prime representative of most Buffalo fans that I know. I don't get the obsession with jumping off tables or jumping off shit and onto tables. But I mean, more power to them, man. That's their thing, and they can keep it.
Yeah, me neither. I definitely have some ideas of ways to playfully chide them. If I do end up going to that game, we'll see what happens. If it works out, I'll probably do it. But yeah, I fully plan on going to jail that day. So we'll see.
Oh God. Well, hey, we'll save up a bail fund for you, okay? We'll start a GoFundMe.
Hey, that's what we do.
All right, man. So you mentioned wanting to go to see as many other teams play in their stadiums. How many stadiums have you been to? Do you have a favorite stadium? What's your favorite environment away from Nissan Stadium?
All right. Well, it's not that big of a number just yet. Still working on it. I went to Denver. That was a pretty cool stadium. Great environment. Their fans were, that was a crap game, and those guys were on 10 the whole game. I've been to Miami a few times. The Miami stadium, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Especially since whoever designed that stadium must be a genius. I always tell everybody, because every game, it's like the sun only shines on the opposing team's sideline. So, and me, I like to sit as close as possible to the team. So, if you're sitting like in those first, like we'll say like 50, 50 to 100 rows, you are just like burning, like straight bacon the whole game. Like I caught very, very bad sunburn during the first game I went to in Miami with my cousin. She's from there and she couldn't take it. She had to run back into the tunnels and she lives there. And you know me, I stayed there. Yeah, I stayed there and took the burns. However, their tailgate, if we end up playing Miami within the next couple seasons, you guys have to go to Miami because their tailgate scene is pretty insane. Like it's pretty insane. They got miniature strip clubs and all kinds of stuff going on in their parking lots. It's pretty awesome. As far as my favorite game that I've been to, away game, would have to have been that Dallas Cowboys Monday night game. That was awesome. The party the night before was amazing. Had a great time. Like I saw Titans fans from all over the place at that game and at that party. But I also just love going to the Houston games because I love catching up with the Houston group. Titan Chris, my guys Ray, Ray Feist, Ray Bell, all Cadillac, Gibson, all those guys, man. My buddy Tennessee that's down there. He's actually from Tennessee, lives down there in the Houston area. Mondo. It's too many people, man. That I love those guys. That's like family. Like the Houston group is like a big time family, and they're the reason. Like I kind of like to sit down with Mark and be like, "Yo, man, we got to try to blow this up and try to kind of emulate what the Houston group is doing, man, because they got a humongous group, and that's what our aspirations are for the San Antonio group." But yeah, that's about it. I mean, Denver, Houston, Dallas, Miami. It's not many. We got a lot of work to do.
Hey man, that's more than I've been to. I'll tell you that right now. And we actually do go to Miami next year. Oof. And this is going to get me in trouble because you mentioned mini strip clubs. I am super married, love my wife, but I've been pleading with Big Luke to let us go to Miami next year. I'm sick of going to cold places. We went to Kansas City last year, AFC Championship game. It was freezing. We're going to Green Bay December 27th this year. It's not going to be warm then. I want to go to Miami. I'm tired of freezing my balls off.
Yes.
I'll hey, honey, if you're listening, I'll wear blinders. I don't want to see any boobies. I just want to see a football game.
They keep it PG. They keep it PG. Like they're not actually getting naked. So it's just a lot of dancing.
My wife's jealous. My wife's jealous.
Oh man, yeah. And I forgot to mention Kansas City. I was actually at your guys' tailgate. For the championship game. That one was pretty cold. It wasn't as cold as that Jacksonville game to me, but I could be mistaken. But I'm definitely trying to go to that Green Bay game as well. So I know I'll probably link up with you guys there if I make that happen.
Let's get you there, man. Absolutely, buddy. All right, man. So I think that's going to do it for most of what we've got planned here. I've got some quick Q&A questions for you. We're going to round this out with. You good to go with that?
Yeah, let's go. Let's get it.
All right, man. So your most hated NFL team?
Houston Texans.
Houston Texans. I love it.
Houston Texans, man. And just because of their fans, when I went to that, it was actually the second game, the Monday night game we had. Oh my God. There was this guy behind me. He was so obnoxious. They weren't even winning the game at this point. And this dude was just in my ear the whole, it was bad. That whole group of fans out there, I was like the only Titans fan in the front row. So they kind of were ganging up on me. And it was getting kind of old. And they were just talking so much recklessness. And then they got into the whole Oiler history and all that stuff. And I was just like, man, you guys are delusional. But yeah, I can't stand Texan fans. I cannot stand them.
All right, man. So next question. You have to buy a jersey of another team. What player, what team are you buying?
Ooh, man. Does that have to be a current player?
Doesn't have to be.
Man, you got me on the spot on that one. I'd probably go my father's team route and probably say a Walter Payton jersey, Bears jersey. Classic blue.
Yes. Sweetness, man.
Always.
I'm good with that. All right. This is a bit of a lengthy question. You may have to stop and think about this one. We call these rapid fire questions. There's nothing rapid fire about them. I don't know why I do it. I guess it just sounds cool.
It does.
All right. So you can sit and talk with one former Titans player other than Steve McNair and Eddie George. Who are you wanting to sit and talk to? You got 1 hour with them.
Man, Keith Bulluck. Keith Bulluck.
All right. Any particular reason why Keith Bulluck?
Because I'm kind of partial to Keith Bulluck and Javon Curse because those were actually the first two Titans players I got a chance to meet, in person. So everybody obviously, my favorite all time obviously is Eddie, and then Steve, followed by Eddie, and then right after that is the two guys that I met first is Javon and Keith. Keith is because he's a New Yorker. I got a lot of family from New York. I kind of feel like if I were to sit down with him and just talk about Titan stuff, like my New York accent will come out and we just it just turned into a whole different conversation. And he's real cool and laid back, And of course, the freak is the freak, man. I met this guy. It's funny. I met this guy at a Dave Chappelle show in Zanies in Nashville. It's a funny story because this was before season 2 of the Chappelle show, before, Dave Chappelle really, really hit his stride and everybody was going crazy with him. We were watching him live at Zanies and, everybody's like, yo, hey, it's Javon Curse back there. And I turned around and looked and I was like, where? He's like, dude, he's right there. And I was like, looking, I got bad eyes. So I'm like, I don't see him. And he's like, dude, he's literally right there, like a few feet away. And, Javon Curse is, in a dark comedy club, it's kind of hard to see darker complected folks. You know what I'm saying? So I really couldn't see him. And then honestly, he moved a little bit and I saw his jewelry move. And I was like, oh, there's Javon Curse. So, and I went up to him and he was awesome. And I stuck out my hand to shake it and he grabbed my elbow. That's how huge his hand is. So, it was pretty cool talking to him, man. He actually asked about me and I was like, man, I'm trying to, give you a whole life story, but Dave Chappelle's about to come on. I'm like, hey, sorry, Javon, man, I got to go, man. The show's about to start, man, but I appreciate you, man. And let's kill it this year. So he's like, all right, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. Give me his autograph. And that was it.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's one player that I've never got to meet. I've met a few of the original Titans, and the Javon Curse has eluded me. I've never gotten to meet him. One of my favorite players. I'm a little jealous of that story, but that's an awesome story.
Yeah, of all places to meet, like one of your favorite Titans players of all time in a comedy club.
Hey, and shout out Zanies. Shout out Zanies,
definitely.
man.
Love Zanies.
That's an awesome place. If you're from Nashville, you've never been to Zanies, you need to go. If you're popping into Nashville, you're here visiting, pop into Zanies. Look and see on the calendar who's performing that night. It's an awesome little comedy bar. You'll love it. Have a good time, I promise.
Definitely, and I got to see Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart before they really blew up, at Zanies. So it's it's an awesome place to see a lot of up and coming people, man. I love that place. So, and hey, you might see Javon Curse in there, and you stick your little hand out, and he'll grab your elbow thinking it's your hand. So you never know.
Right on. All right, man. I got a few more questions, and we're gonna wrap this up. Favorite tailgate food and drink?
Ooh. Well, please don't judge me, but I'm a light beer drinker. I definitely drink a lot of light beer, whatever light beer there is at the tailgate. I'm definitely drinking it, as long as it's followed by shots of Jack, any flavor. Tailgate, man, the Houston group really got me into their brisket and ribs. Man, those guys can throw down in Houston. I'm telling you, their tailgate food is top notch. I mean, if you guys get a chance to go to a Houston game like this season, hint, hint, they put out a good spread out there in Houston. I'm telling you.
There's nothing wrong with barbecue and beer, man.
Oh, always.
All right. Now, this is a question. You're the first one. I'm going to ask this question too.
Oh,
Pre-game ritual, or superstitions?
Ooh, that's too easy for me. Well, my thing is, I don't have like a suit like all the other super fans out there or anything that I get into. My whole thing is I have to see the Britches report before I travel to the games or anything. I have to see what Jim Wyatt says we're going to wear. I match whatever color combination they're wearing on the field. If they're wearing white, light blue pants, two-tone, light blue top, dark blue bottoms, I'm matching whatever they're wearing on the field. And I have a set of away socks for away games, and I have a set of home socks for home games. I wear the same Nike light blue shoes that I've been wearing for since I've been in Alaska. I've been wearing those shoes for game days. And lately, the hats they come out with the away hat and the home hat. So obviously, they're home. I wear the home hat. And if they're away, I wear the away hat. It's nothing too crazy. I'm not gonna go Titan man like Adam and get a whole suit. Although I really wish I kind of had something like that. But I'm not gonna get my chili pepper on like my buddy Fernando and do that. But or get my big Marvin the Martian helmet like Cadillac does when he goes to games. But that's just my thing. I like to kind of like wear what the team is wearing out there.
I like that, man. Yeah, that makes sense. You got to match the players on the field. If you look nice, you're going to play nice. So, that's always been my motto. All right, last two questions. Favorite current player?
Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard,
I like it.
Followed up obviously closely by Derrick Henry. I got to meet Kevin Byard a few times, man. Kevin Byard is awesome, man. He's so down to earth, and like he came to us after the Denver game. He sat there and like he literally talked to us for like a good 5-10 minutes, just sitting there, just talking to us. Got to take some pictures with him. He autographed my buddy Alan Aiken's jersey, and he told me, man, can't wear this jersey no more. I was like, nope. Yeah, Kevin Byard, man, it's just especially, just kind of coming out of nowhere, nobody really giving him any kind of respect, the whole Deion Sanders thing, and just the way he's played. Like, he doesn't just cry about it. He goes out there and he produces, and he's a monster. And, he's one of my favorite guys. And then obviously, Derrick, we all love running backs in Tennessee. I know you know that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, Derrick is Derrick. He's the king.
All right. And last question before we get out of here. If you've listened to our podcast, you know that normally I ask who the top favorite former players are. We always get Steve and Eddie, so we switched it up. Kenny, I want you to tell me your 3 most underrated Titans.
Wow. That is an amazing question. Geez. Okay. To me, 3 underrated. I'd say the first one would be Justin McCareins. Justin McCareins, to me, was one of my favorite receivers when Steve was having his good years. A lot of people don't ever really talk about him. It's always, Drew or D-Mace. Another one, I would say, one of my favorites, Big Robert Smith. That was my guy. I thought he was awesome on that line. I hated when he went to Jacksonville and came back and commenced to killing us when he would play us. Still remember he had a stuffed animal available on the Titans Pro Shop. A lot of people may not remember that. And the most underrated guy that honestly a lot of people kind of don't really mention a lot, even from the old days, it's my guy, Blaine Bishop. Blaine Bishop, to me, was like, man, Blaine Bishop was awesome. I don't think he fully gets the shine that he deserves as far as, in the pantheon of all the Titans. He's kind of like towards the latter half, but he definitely should be in there.
Absolutely, man. If you've ever gotten a chance to meet Blaine Bishop, you know how great of a guy he is. He's always willing to take photos, sign autographs, ask you, about your life story. He's just a regular guy and super personable. So we appreciate Blaine Bishop coming back and doing a lot of the things that he does with Titans community.
Definitely. I still remember the first time I met him at the Pro Shop during one of the draft watch parties. He's everything you said and then some, man. He's awesome.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Two-Tone Blue Nation. We want to thank San Antonio Titans, and we also want to thank Kenny for coming on and sharing some info about their group. Like we said, man, anytime you want to come tailgate with us, come tailgate with us, man. We'll always have you. We'll always have cold beer on tap. We'll have music playing. We'll have a family atmosphere. Wherever we go, you're always welcome, man.
Always, man. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Hopefully we'll see you guys down in Houston. For anybody out there, anybody listening from San Antonio, on Instagram, it's at TTFISA. On Facebook, Tennessee Titan fans in San Antonio. Me, I'm Kenny Blanco, 1242 across everything. Instagram, Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I don't have that many followers. I just literally started my Twitter specifically for Titans Twitter. So come one, come all, unless your name is Titan Anderson. And hey, Two-Tone Blue Nation for life, baby. I'll see you guys soon.
All right. Until then, y'all take care and tighten up.
Tighten up.
We gotta go.
Here it comes. Football.
But you've been listening to Two-Tone Blue Nation. If it's Tennessee Titans football, it's here. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back soon. But until then, find us on Twitter at Two-Tone Blue Nat 1. Find Big Luke at Two-Tone Big Luke and King Cole at Two-Tone Blue Cole. Find us on Instagram at Two-Tone Blue Nation. Till next time, Titans Nation.
Spartans! What is your profession?